Hello everyone, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees. In today's video, we're going to be talking about prospects the Yankees could look to deal at the deadline. Now, the Yankees are going to have to be aggressive at this deadline, not because they need players, but because this is your best opportunity to win a World Series, and you should capitalize on that. And these three guys are players that are either Rule 5 eligible, and the Yankees may not be able to keep them next year, or these are guys that have performed well and just don't have a spot in the Major League roster. So with that being said, let's start off with Estevan Florial, who's the Yankees' number 29 prospect, having his best season at AAA, a 294 average with a 375 on base and 463 slugging, 17 stolen bases, 5 home runs, a 125 WRC plus. He's a great defensive center fielder, great athlete, great raw power, great raw speed, defense. The tools are all there for him to be a solid Major League player, but the Yankees really don't have the roster space, nor are they in the window necessarily to be testing if he can be a productive Major League player. I do think the floor for him is a little bit higher just because he's a good defender, but I do think he can be a 90 WRC plus hitter at the Major League level, and that's something that is definitely valuable to some teams, but the Yankees really don't know if they can have that. And Judge has been the center fielder, and you're not going to move Judge off of center field if he likes playing there and you have that answer filled for you. It just doesn't really make sense to have someone else play center field when Judge is already doing it. And if you are going to do it, it has to be for a player who's an elite hitter, right? So you're not going to move Judge off center field unless you're getting an elite generational player, and Florial just isn't that. But to an organization like, you look at the AL Central, there's some spacious ballparks there in Detroit and Kansas City. Even in the NL Central, Pittsburgh, those are just places where there's a lot of space in the outfield. Doesn't necessarily mean that Florial's going to be playing center field exactly for them, but if you're putting him in a quarter outfield spot, center field, he can definitely cover a lot of ground. And those are places that have at least, those are organizations that could definitely take on an outfielder who succeeded at the AAA level and still figuring it out at the Major League level. And so, that's definitely something that I think those organizations would be interested in. For a reliever, I think Florial could definitely get you value. And before you say, well, for a reliever, Florial is probably worth more than that, he realistically isn't. This is very similar to the Hoy Park situation, and I do think Florial gets Hoy Park, where he gets traded for a reliever. I'm not necessarily saying that reliever is going to be some random guy from Pittsburgh who the Yankees turn to the best reliever in baseball. But I am saying the Yankees are probably going to, if they do trade him, it's not going to be for a frontline player. Most likely will be for a reliever, unless he's packaged in a deal. Then you can see something different. As for the next player, it's Anthony Siegler. He's a catcher who was recently promoted to high A ball. Overall, the season at single A and high A. He's put up a 270 average with a 450 on base and a 476 slugging percentage. His plate discipline is phenomenal. A 24.6% walk rate and 19.6% strikeout rate is great. He's walking more than he strikes out. A 166 WRC plus is a phenomenal number. That means he's 66% better than the average hitter at high A or A ball, I guess, because this is across those two levels. He's a switch hitter. He's a versatile player. He's someone who really just strikes me as a player who's going to find himself on a Major League roster pretty shortly. And by pretty shortly, I mean like 2 years. Siegler was a former first-round pick for the Yankees in 2018. Really never got it going. Was very injury-prone. But again, I don't see how you can see this offensive success and not be excited for him. He's either going to help the Yankees down the road or be someone the Yankees trade. And the reason I think the Yankees are more likely to trade him is because he's Rule 5 eligible. He's not in the 40-man roster, and I don't see the Yankees adding him to the 40-man just because I like with Vortvet, Higashioka, and Trevino probably being here next year. Those are three guys who are going to be on the 40-man. You really don't need a fourth catcher on your 40-man. You probably would rather have pitching on there. So it just seems like Siegler's going to get dealt, and that's just the reality of it. It's an unfortunate situation. But Siegler's a switch hitter. There's some team that could definitely use him in their farm. Probably going to be AA ready very soon. By the time the deadline rolls around, he should be in AA. And if he is, a AA catcher who's performing well is very valuable on the market. I'm not sure if it nets you more than a solid player, but a solid player is still good enough to warrant trading Anthony Siegler. And I think he's someone the Yankees dangle as bait at the deadline. As for the last player, he's also Rule 5 eligible. He is a right-handed pitcher. That is Johnny Brito, who had a strong AA season and then was promoted to AAA. In 2 starts, he has a sub-2 ERA, but his peripherals aren't great because he hasn't had a lot of strikeouts. Overall in the season at AA and AAA, he has a 2.03 ERA, a 6.6% walk rate, a 0.68 home run to fly ball rate, home run per 9 rate. So he's really good at managing contact. He is kind of your old school type of pitching to contact. Don't walk a lot of guys, an average strikeout rate. I don't really think he helps the Yankees very much because the Yankees are just so loaded pitching-wise, and they're probably looking more to get an established reliever, not so much a young kid that they call up and thrust into a bullpen role. Brito just strikes me as someone that, a team like the Cubs or a team like the Reds or a team like the Pirates or a team like Kansas City. These are bad teams that just don't have innings. They're going to need innings down the line. Washington, the Nationals, another example, right? Like, these are teams that their rotations are stretched so thin because they're so bad and they can't, all the guys they call up are terrible. Brito could be someone that, a rebuilding team looks to just get innings out of at the major league level. And that's valuable, right? Like, an average starter who gives you innings is a valuable asset to a major league team. And so Brito just strikes me as someone who's going to be a workhorse. And I think he's just a solid pitcher. And I think solid pitching is pretty valuable to organizations across Major League Baseball. With that being said, though, let me know what you guys think. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees. You guys know where to check me out at Ryan Garcia ESM. Make sure to check out at Fireside Yankees Twitter. Check out Empire Sports Media for all your New York sports content. We also have a Facebook and Instagram for Fireside Yankees. Make sure to check those two things out. I appreciate you guys listening in. We've been growing a lot lately, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ryan, out.